Hi everyone, welcome to the Jam Band for meditation. Now, at the time of recording this, we're in lockdown with the coronavirus outbreak. And one thing this has really revealed for me is interdependence, or as Thich Nhat Hanh would call it, the importance of interbeing, and how as a human race we are all fundamentally connected. This is not just the human race, this is everything. So every part of life is interconnected. We could even perceive that there is space in between us. We see space around us, but even within space there is air, there are molecules, there is healthy bacteria. So we live in a world which, if we kind of free ourselves from the simplicity of some of our kind of views, is quite complex. There are a multitude of things to consider, and with interdependence, we can really kind of get that sense of how important each other are. Now, of course, if you know someone who works in the NHS at the moment, you'll know that they're doing a phenomenal job, really, of kind of taking care of other people. So we are really reliant on their care. Now, this extends in all aspects of our life, really, and to quote Ram Dass, he once said that we are all here to awaken from our illusion of separateness, and I really enjoy that, really kind of take that to heart. So we're not just living on this earth, we're all part of an interconnected system, we're all part of an ever-evolving and natural system. And it's our connection with each other and the earth itself that will ensure our survival as a human race, and it will ensure the survival of the earth too. So consider for a moment that you are because I am, and I am because you are. Now, you might think that you are very distant from me, the video, or maybe you're kind of on the other side of the world. But ultimately, when we look at this long and hard enough, we are all interconnected, even at the most fundamental of levels. So this is beautifully illustrated in one of Thich Nhat Hanh's meditations on paper. So he was known to kind of hold up a piece of paper and say, "Can you see the cloud? Can you see the cloud in this piece of paper?" And when you meditate on this for a few moments, you realize that it's there, and without the cloud, that piece of paper could not be. Because prior to that paper being formed, it needed to, of course, come from a material source. So it came from pulp, which of course was made potentially from wood. And of course, where did that wood come from? Of course, the wood was the tree itself. And of course, where did that tree come from? Well, of course, it grew over many years, and it grown from a seed of some kind. And of course, that seed could not have grown if it wasn't for the rain. And of course, where did the rain come from? The rain came from the sky, and of course, it doesn't just come from the sky, it comes from the cloud. And even the cloud is not the beginning, because stepping further back, of course, in this process, you'll see that even the cloud and the water came from somewhere too. Now, another really lovely way of seeing this is thinking about a sea. So think about the sea and waves, and how waves would move up and down on the sea. The wave could feel a large amount of anxiety if it was to consider the fact that it was separate, and it might think that other waves were better. Some waves were bigger, some waves were smaller, some waves were more beautiful. But ultimately, the wave is part of the ocean. So it is the ocean. And humans as well, so ourselves, we are part of this ocean. So we could consider ourselves separate from one another, but ultimately we are all waves on the same ocean. So as Ram Dass said, we are all here to awaken from that illusion of separateness. So I'd like to practice a meditation with you now for about 5 minutes or so, where we're going to explore this idea of feeling that kind of interconnection with each other. So I invite you to find yourself a comfortable position, whether it's seated or whether it's lying, it's up to you. So just take a few moments to find yourself a nice position where you can settle. So settling into your practice. And settling into your breath, and the rise and fall of the breath. that wave-like motion of your breath. Feel the breath flowing in and feel the breath flowing out. So observing your breath. And notice how your body moves with your breath. So there is that connection between your body and your breath. There cannot be one without the other. And then take a moment to meditate on the fact that the breath flowing in and out of the body, it helps to keep our body alive. So our body has a circulatory system. Think of those many functions. There's many functions that the breath allows to take place. The breath feeds and brings life to your system. So at this point you can really respect your breath, the importance of breath, enjoying the breath. Then become aware of where the breath is coming from. So you're drawing in the air around you. So consider the space around you, that perceived emptiness that is the breath. Take a moment to consider the trees and how the trees themselves breathe and how they provide us with oxygen to sustain our life, and how in turn we support them. So visualizing now a tree growing in the earth, its roots reaching down, how the earth is supporting that tree, how there is an interrelationship, an interdependence. Just allow your breath to keep flowing. And visualize that trees standing on the earth. Maybe if you could step back a bit further, you could see that there are more trees. Maybe even houses, maybe even people. So start to build yourself an image now, an image of life on earth. Starting to feel lighter. Visualizing yourself in that scene, and the feet just gently lift off the earth. And as you float upwards, you gain a better view of the trees, the people, the place. And as you float upwards, begin to see the tops of the trees, the tops of houses. Get to have a bird's eye perspective. Feeling safe and comfortable in this knowledge that through this visualization your feet are firmly on the ground. So moving outwards, you see a greater expanse. You start to take in the greater surroundings. Maybe noticing hills, roads, all of those parts that make up life as we know it. Expanded outwards some more, maybe seeing rivers flowing, maybe even the ocean. Expanding out some more now, seeing the curve of the earth itself. Gently, gently moving outwards, expanding further, until we see ourselves start to take in the entirety of the earth's sphere. The pale blue dot of Carl Sagan. That moment where you see the beauty of our water planet and how it sustains life. Beginning to perceive the earth as one living system, one living, breathing system, where everything on it is part of the system. Nothing is separate. At this point, you can begin to realize that we are part of a solar system. So you can expand further outwards. You can expand to take this in too. Your mind is a wonderful thing. You can visualize this. You can visualize a great expansive awareness of our solar system. The solar system is interconnected. Everything moves with each other. Everything is supporting each other. The wonder of motion and gravity. The sun at the heart of this system, the sun as part of this, how it supports us. Just taking into account for a moment that vast expanse of space, and not as emptiness, but as wholeness, how it encompasses all things, and how it is all interconnected. And as you begin to visualize this vast expanse, you bring your awareness back to the center of your chest and your heart. And at this point, you notice that the universe is inside you. That exploration that we have just been on together, that journey, is inside you. There is no separation between you, here, now, and that vast expanse of space and life. You can take great comfort in this, knowing that we are all part of this together, knowing that we are all part of this vast expanse of life. From the chest, you may notice your breath, the flowing in, the flowing out, the rise and fall of your chest, maybe noticing sounds around you once more. Really simplifying this practice as we slowly come back to physical awareness of self. Maybe bringing some movement back to your fingers and toes. Enjoying the contact you have with the ground. And slowly, in your own time, opening your eyes, coming back to your space. So I thank you all very much for being part of this meditation. We are all in this together, this thing called life. And as you probably know, I love sound. So I'd just like to finish saying, let's all enjoy being part of this musical symphony of life together. So I hope you are happy, healthy and peaceful in your days to come, and I wish you well. Namaste.